Hi everyone, it's Sarah at Cornish Papercraft. I just thought I would bring you another video. Obviously I am filming ahead of time, so I think we're in week 7 of the lockdown. I'm not too sure, each day rolls into one. But I do have some news. I will be starting a new job next week, which I'm looking forward to. I got made redundant from my last role due to the virus, so it's all change, but I'm hoping to still be able to bring my videos to you every Friday. So watch this space. So I'm going to be using the Sailing Home suite again, and the matching dies that go with it. And we're going to be making these 2 cards. There we go. So I done the first one in green, and this idea came from an American demo called Lisa Curcio. I've done a few of her projects, and this was one that she covered here. My take on it was to do it in blue, but when you open it up, it's a pop-up card. There we go. So like I say, I did mine in blue, and Lisa done hers in, I think the colours she used was Mossy Meadow and Crumb Cake. Obviously I didn't have Mossy Meadow, I used Garden Green and Crumb Cake. On this one I just stuck with Night and Navy. So this is the one that we're going to be doing today. The only thing is, this is from the old Celebration Grapefruit Grove foil. So you'd need some gold foil or metallic sheet of some form, which I think is in the old catalogue and will be in the current catalogue. So you just need 2 pieces of shiny foil for the compass needle and the ship wheel. So let's get started. So I have already gone ahead and cut my card, purely because I wanted to make sure that I had everything right. And what I have done is I've changed my measurements to what Lisa used, purely because I wanted to get 2 bases out of 1 A4 sheet of Crumb Cake card. So I have managed that. So it's taken me a little while just to get my head around the mathematics of it all, and to just make sure it worked. So for the Crumb Cake, let me just open that one up so you can see the full measurements of it. And the Crumb Cake piece measures 5 3/4 by 8, scored straight down the middle at 4. Okay, so that is your outer layer, your base layer. The next bit you're going to need is, not those 2 pieces, a piece of Very Vanilla. Ta-da! And this piece measures 5 1/2. Actually, if I open up, 5 1/2. By 7 3/4, scored straight down the middle at 3 7/8. Okay. And then what we'll do is, as I'm going along, I'll let you know the measurements of the pieces that you'll need. So the first thing we need to do is to get your Very Vanilla. And as you can see, I have put a pencil mark just at the midway line, and another one just slightly down from it, okay? Because the deeper you go with your lines, the bigger your pop-up is going to be, so you don't want it to be too big. And the bit that I found that worked, and this came from Lisa's video, so let me just see if I can zoom in so you can see it all there. Hoping you can see that bit. What you want to do is get the pencil mark and line it up onto the right hand side of the scoreboard at the 1/2 inch mark. Okay. And then come down to your 1 inch. Okay, then your pencil mark is going to move to the left and be on the 1/2 inch mark, and you're going to cut again down to the 1 inch. Okay. So I've just noticed I have gone just a little bit less on this one, so I'm just going to extend this one just very little bit. There we go. Okay, so let's move that bit out of the way. So you're left with like a tab, okay, and that is the bit that you're going to need when you open it up, you just need to pop it forwards. Be gentle when you're grabbing hold of it, because you can tug it, you can break it, and then just fold along your pop-up line. Okay, so you can see I did go down a little bit extra on this one, but it doesn't matter because it doesn't show, and that gives you your step in the middle to work on. Okay, so I'm just going to put that bit aside, and what we're going to do is we're going to build up the outside first. So I have used the compass from the Sail Away suite. Again, it's got the Mossy Meadow side on the back. You can use whichever colour you wish. Now, let me just try and zoom out a little bit. There we go. And what you need to do with this bit, I literally took 1/4 inch off each part. So 5 3/4 down to 5 1/2, 4 down to 3 3/4. Okay, so let's get that bit stuck on. You can use wet glue, you can use tape glue, whichever you prefer to use, whichever you feel comfortable with, really. And just make sure, if you're using the compass side, you get the north facing up, because you wouldn't want to put everything together and then find you have your compass facing in the wrong direction. So let's get that lined up there. Okay, so that's the first bit done. The next bits you're going to need is, and I've used that, I call it the newspaper side of the DSP. This is it in more full, and on the back it's got the knot design. You need a piece that measures 1 inch in width by 5 3/4, which is the length of your base card. Okay, because that piece is going to go from crumb cake to crumb cake. Okay, then you're going to stamp on a piece of Very Vanilla. So obviously when you've done your card cutting, you are going to end up with a couple of pieces left over of scrap. Okay, so you can use that for the bits and pieces that you need. And this bit is 3/4 inch wide by 5 1/2, because it's just going to sit on there with a layer. Okay, and this bit is the one that you're going to stamp on. So I have already put my stamp onto my block, and if you're a bit stuck with not sure how to line it up, the best thing I do is I put my block down onto my cutting mat, make sure it's straight, and then I use the line on this cutting mat to line it up. If you've got grid paper, you can do exactly the same thing, because there's nothing worse if you stamp down on a finished project and your stamp is wonky. I've done it a few times, so I know how annoying it is. And what you're going to need to do is, let me just grab that one, Night of Navy ink, again, only because I'm using this colour. You can change it up to whichever design you like in that DSP stack. Ink up your stamp. Okay, get your piece of Very Vanilla, line it up on the grid. Okay, there we go, just make sure it's 100% lined up, and you're going to stamp to the left. There we go. Okay, so because that stamp is quite, the pad is quite inky, quite juicy, I'm just going to put that piece aside over here so I don't get my fingers in it. Okay, now you're going to need to use your Big Shot for a couple of pieces, unless you have punches. I mean, they could be from a different company, it could be from anything, but you're going to need to use the ship wheel and the compass needle. Okay, and this is where the foil bit comes in. So I've used, obviously, the old Celebration Grapefruit Grove. I'm not quite sure if you can see the foot, because I know it's catching the light quite a lot on that one. Okay, so you can already see I've cut pieces out of it. So I don't know if you can quite see my Big Shot just there. So pop it in. Obviously you get as many as you can out of a small sheet, because it's more cost effective that way. and just roll them through. There's no rushing with projects. Mine take about an average of 15, but I'm getting used to bulk layering mine now, so I'm going to be making quite a few of these cards. So I've already gone ahead and I've bulk cut bits and pieces so that I can just sit down and put them all together. Okay, so those are the 2 bits that we needed die cut. Let me try and get that compass needle off without bending it. There we go. And let me just move the big shot out of the way. There we go. Okay. So I don't know if you can see how effective the shimmer paper is at that compass needle there. It makes it look gold or antique gold. There we go. And then what you'll need to do is grab a pokey tool of some form, or a pen lid if you don't have a pokey tool, and just pop out the inner parts of the ship wheel. Okay, and then just gently go through a couple of the loopholes until you can grab hold of your ship wheel. Okay, there we go. Now what I have been doing is collecting the pieces that are coming out from the ship's wheel so I can do Christmas projects with them, because they can go in a shaker card. I'm just putting those off to the side. Okay, so that's now dried. Okay, so I'm going to use wet glue on this one because I don't want to put it down on my surface, just in case I have a little bit of ink or something just in there. Okay, so that bit is going to centre off with your newspaper part, and just pop it down straight in the middle, or you can pop it down to one side. It's, oops, that's the only thing with wet glue, it can move. Okay, just make sure it's level the whole way down, and if it isn't, pull it back and realign it. Okay, there we go. And then what I am going to do is use wet glue again on the back of this side, and just liberally apply some right the way around down the back. But before you stick down the right hand side, you need to pop on your ship's wheel just behind it. Now I haven't put any adhesive on my ship wheel purely because it's being held down by glue, so it's in there and it's solid. You can apply wet glue to it, but I just found as only half of it's tucking out, it's fine now without any glue. Okay, and just give that bit a press down. Okay, so whilst that bit's just there drying, we are going to get on and do the stamping side. So grab your Very Vanilla piece, open it back up again. Just going to pop that just on there. Oops. If I can pick it up, there we go, just so I don't lose it. And you're going to be using the compass, the big ship and the little ship. Okay, but obviously the ships we're going to die cut separately. So the first thing you need to do is pop your compass, one of the compasses, in here. And what you want to do is open your card up and lay it flat, because if you're going to try and stamp like this, it's going to bounce, it's going to smudge. Okay, and just pop your compass down there. Okay, now I'm just going to put mine to the side purely because I know that I will get my fingers in it and that will be the end of it. I will smudge it. Okay, grab some scrap pieces. As you can see, I've already made a couple of these. This was from another project that I've been doing. And you need another compass wheel. Stamp that one down. Let's put that one over there somewhere just so I know where it is. You're going to need, I don't know if it'll fit in there. Yep, it'll fit in there. a little ship, and then I'm going to have to put the larger ship onto the other piece. I do like to use all of my scraps up, purely because oh, that didn't work very well, did it? Let me see if I can fit that one in. I might just have to do that one upside down just to fit it in. I'm a great believer that it costs money to buy the papers and cards, so use it all up. There we go, that one's a bit better. Okay, so that is all the stamping done. Apologies, my ink pad holder is just to the right of me there. Okay, and what we're going to do next is stick the inside in to the card. So I'm just going to move those off to the side just in case they're still drying, and I'm going to bring in a piece of scrap. Okay, so always work out which is your upper, which is a lower, because the last thing you want to do is to pop it in upside down. Okay, and what we're going to do is we're going to paper there for some reason there. Put it in section by section. Okay, so this is the top, and like I say, I'm using tape glue again, and just pop glue along all the parts that it needs to be adhered with. Okay, there we go. So let's grab the needle for that one. Open your card up. Now there's no rushing when making your card, okay? And just make sure everything lines up. Obviously you want to get your fold in with the crumb cake fold. And before pressing it down, all I literally did was what Lisa done. Let it do its own kind of work with it. There we go. So you've lined it up. It stuck itself down, okay? And then you're going to do the same with the back piece. And work again with the back piece exactly the same way. Okay, there we go. Okay, so the next bit that we're going to need to do is cut out your compass. I have used, whoops, the 1.5 inch punch. Fits it perfectly. If you've got the circle dies, you can use the circle dies, or you can fussy cut it. Okay, cut your compass out, so that's that bit done. And then I'm using the 1 3/4, which is the next size up, and you need a piece of crumb cake, which is what your compass is going to stick to. Okay, again, plenty of scraps. I've got a big basket of them right beside me. Okay, so that will sit on there, giving it a nice overlay. Okay, so you can use wet glue, you can use tape glue. I think my tape glue is coming to an end, so I'm going to just quickly use wet glue on that one. And again, just look on your compass to make sure which is the right way up. Okay, so I always go by the saying, never eat shredded wheats or naughty elephant squirt water. So there's east, so I know that is my north point. Okay, those sayings have stayed with me since I was in primary school. Okay, so that's that bit done. And what you're going to need to do next is, with your needle, or compass needle should I say, there's a little bit in the middle that just needs to be poked out. You'll see it when you do the die cut. There we go. Just a very tiny little circle. You probably see it better now just on my finger there. And you need to grab yourself a glue dot. There we go. Okay, let's take that one off. And what I do is, because they're quite they're larger than the actual needle, I've just rolled it in my hands to form a ball, okay? Pop it behind the central part, and then I've just pointed my needle in a different way to the original one, so it almost looks like a working compass. Okay, there we go. Wet glue on the back of these. And make sure you've got it the right way up again, and just pop it off to the side so your ship wheel is poking out just behind it. Okay, so you can move it. I mean, I've gone a little bit close on this one, the original one I was a little bit more over to the left. Okay, and the next bits we're going to need to do is to cut out the boats. So I am just going to go and grab my Big Shot quickly once more and bring it in. Now you can do these